Hi folks, good afternoon. Paul Cavanaugh and Jerry Winter here. We want to welcome you and thank you for being here. We're here to present Photon Trader, learning the basics and indicators. So we're glad you're here, and we're going to get started in just a minute here. First of all, I'd just like to ask if the audio sounds right, type in a Y in the questions panel if you would. Great guys, thank you. So we'll go ahead and get started now. Again, thank you for your interest in Photon Trader and future path trading. To get started, first thing we have to do is read a risk disclosure statement. So obviously there's a substantial risk of loss in futures, options, and off-exchange foreign currency products trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Future Path is an independent introducing broker, and this may be a solicitation for products and services. That being said, today's presentation, Paul and Jerry, join us for a quick tutorial on getting started, learning to use Photon Trader's basic functions, including order placement, stops, OCOs, and brackets, as well as setting up charts with indicators for technical analysis. This program is designed to benefit current Photon users and clients, as well as shorten the learning curve for demo users. Since the exchange only allows one 30-day demo per calendar year, we're providing this information, and we'll continue to do more webinars on this to help you folks maximize your trial period if you're just on a demo so far. So thank you again for being here. Briefly, I'm Paul. I've been a broker since 1991, and I'm here with Jerry Winter, who's also a broker, but since 1986. So collectively, we have quite a few years of experience between us. I want to introduce my friend Jerry Winter here and turn the presentation over to Jerry this time. So Jerry, please step in. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. I want to thank all of you again for taking the time to spend with us this afternoon. As Paul mentioned, kind of our primary purpose here is to give you a little bit of basic information about the different features of Photon Trader. I know sometimes we get some feedback from clients and folks that have taken the simulator that some of the things in Photon Trader can be a little overwhelming and maybe a little bit intimidated by the scope of what is inside there. But the nice thing about Photon Trader is that you can make it as complicated or as basic as you need. And that's how Damon designed it. And I know he gets into some of the more intricate features when he does some of the webinars, so we thought today we'd go through what you need to get started and to place orders and really to make sense of everything. So I'm going to now put the Photon Trader up. When you log into Photon Trader, you'll see this little navigation bar, and that's where all of the features are presented to you. We're going to focus today, or I'm going to focus today, on the matrix, the trade matrix. That's what a majority of the traders use to manage their positions, place their orders. In order to get the actual instrument in there, and that's what you see when you log in, you don't see anything in there. There's two ways to do it. You can click on this drop-down arrow, and if you've been in the program before, the instruments that you've used in the past will be saved in there for you. So you can just choose, in this case, September E-minis, and it will populate the matrix. If you don't have any contracts in there already or would like to add one, you go to this little box to the right, and that will pull up the instrument index. And so you can just start to type in the symbol that you're looking for, and it should populate that. So in this case, the mini Dow, you can hit OK, and then that'll populate the mini Dow into your matrix. The most basic functions obviously are placing orders. The way you do that on the matrix is you go to the quantity column, bid quantity, ask quantity. Bid is always on the left, ask is always, or bid is always on the left, ask is always on the right. If you're going to place a limit order, you go to the price that you are choosing and left click your mouse to that price, and you'll see that did place an order. On the other side, works exactly the same way. And you can see when you put your cursor over a price, it highlights, so you kind of know exactly where you are. And then if you left click, it will also place that particular order for you. To cancel an order, Very simply, a couple of ways to do that. You can either hold your mouse over the number, the quantity, and right click, and that will cancel that order. You can also go down to the lower level here and you'll see a couple of boxes, and in this case the X is the cancel, so cancel sells over on this side, cancel buys over on this side. So this will cancel all of your orders on the buy side or the sell side, so you can take out either buys or sells there. On the bottom we also have market orders, so on the left side is buy at the market, left click and it will buy. On the right side, same thing. Left click and it'll put you flat. I do want to show you one of the options that are really important. Up at the top here of the matrix, if you go to this little arrow and click on that, it'll pull up a window. We're going to look at trade matrix options. This is where you can basically optimize and customize all of the Photon settings. For our purposes here, I want to show you a couple of things. We've got this show get flat button, and that's already been checked, and that's down at the bottom of the matrix, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. But we also have a couple of other functions that are optional. In this case, enable get flat and cancel all. The way that we've got it defaulted is that if you hit this flat button and you've got positions on, it will offset those positions, but it will not cancel working orders. If you do want it to cancel working orders in addition to getting you flat your positions, then you'll want to have this box checked. And it pulls up this warning. When you're doing those functions simultaneously, there is a potential of getting double filled. So this warning box just lets you know if you're canceling and then executing, if it's right on the market, there is a chance that you'd be double filled when you have that enabled. So they just want you to understand that. We also have this confirmation tab, and in this particular case you can choose to have your orders show confirmation, and a lot of people don't like that, but I think it's kind of a good feature to have. If you're not scalping on a very, very, very short-term basis, it's always nice to have some positive reinforcement for what you're doing. You know, if things get busy and you're placing orders in different markets, just having that second confirmation to let you know you're in the right spot and exactly what you want to do sometimes is helpful. Let me show you this trade matrix with the enable and get flat and cancel all. So right now we do have that enabled. So if we put a couple of put some trades on, put a couple of buys, so you'll see up in the left hand corner shows you your long 2, and then let me go ahead and I'll put sell limit in and another sell limit up above. Okay, the way we've got it set now, you've got long 2 positions with 2 limit orders, and if we hit get flat, it's going to confirm multiple order cancellation because we do have that get flat and cancel all. If you hit yes, you can see there we're out at the market. So it canceled the positions and got you flat. Now if we go back and we uncheck that particular button, and we'll do the same thing, put on a couple positions, put on a couple limits. Okay, so now we're long 2 and we've got 2 limit orders working. We hit the flat button, confirms we're selling at the market. You can see we've got a flat position, but these limit orders are still working. So that's an important thing to remember if you want to use this flatten button, making sure that you know which options you have checked and what you want to accomplish with that. So then we can cancel this and we can cancel that. Now, if we did have the confirmations turned off, in this particular case we had them on, it's just going to go ahead and do everything all at once, and we'll show you that real quick. Okay, so I've got confirmations turned off. So in this case, buy at the market, there you go. Happens right away. Limit orders, again, happens on one click. No confirmations there. We hit flat, flatten your position, go back, trade matrix options, enable get flat and cancel all, confirm. So, okay, we've got two longs, we've got two limits. We hit flat, and it takes the position and the orders off. So that's a feature that a lot of people do use, but you have to know exactly how you've got it set up. The next thing I do want to talk about is stop orders. We do it a little bit differently than some of the matrix that you've seen in the past. There's two ways to place stop orders. The first way is by enabling this stop placement button down in the left-hand corner. If you left click on it, you'll see that it goes from being blank to being red. When it's red, the next order you place will be a stop order. And this is a one order feature. So I'll demonstrate. So we've got the stop enabled, and as you know, on the buy side, buy stops are above the market, sell stops are below the market. So in this particular case, we're going to place a buy stop, choosing the price, left click, and we do have the confirmations off, so that order was placed immediately. So we've got a buy stop at 185.63. Now you have to remember, if you want to place another stop, you have to re-enable that stop placement button. It has to be red. The next order you place will be a stop, and you can see the stops are designated by a parentheses around the quantity. The other way that you can place stops is by holding down the control button on your keyboard. When you have that control key held down, left clicking on the column will place a stop for you. If you continue to hold it down, it will continue to place stops for you. Okay, so the two ways to place stops, either making sure that that stop button is enabled or by holding down the control button and then left clicking in the column bid quantity, ask quantity. And then to cancel, you just go ahead and cancel all of those. Very good. The next thing I want to talk about is Osio orders and brackets. We haven't really gone into these too much yet in our tutorials, webinars, but it is a popular feature, and I think people do want to take advantage of that. In order to set up, we'll start with an OCO. We have to create a tactic, and that's what we call our OCO orders. In this particular case, we need to go to the setup button down at the bottom of the matrix. Left click on it one time and it pulls up the tactic manager. We've already got some in here, and the program does come with I think a couple of basic ones when you first get it, but we're going to create a new tactic in this particular case. Left click. Tactic manager asks you to name it, and we suggest naming the tactic something that is important to what you're looking at. You just don't want to name it something randomly, because then you'll kind of forget after a while. So we're going to name this one OCO 10, and I'll show you why in a second. Click OK, and that populates the tactic manager. We've got your tactic name in. Now we have to pick the tactic type. In this particular case, we were going to work with an OCO order, order cancels order. The way that we've got our OCO set up is that it works off the limit. So when you place a limit order at your price, it will offset the stop by this number that is variable. So in this particular case, I called it OCO 10 based on the fact that the stop will be 10 ticks from the bid and offer when you place your limit. And I will demonstrate that in a second. You can change this. You can make this whatever quantity you want, but we named the tactic 10, so I'm going to start with that. Now we also have a trailing stop feature that comes defaulted. We're not going to talk about that today. We'll go through that in the next webinar. So we're going to want to uncheck that trailing stop feature, but we'll get into that at another time. So once we've got it set up as we want it, we save tactic and close. Now, in order to implement this tactic, we have to do a couple of things. We first have to go down to the bottom and we have to choose the tactic that we want applied. In this case, we're going to use OCO 10, the one we just created. Now, the important thing is that just like the stop, we have to activate that tactic by clicking this activate button down at the bottom of the screen. When it's red, that means the next order that's going to be placed is going to be per that tactic. So in this particular case, you can see, toggle it on, we've got an OCO 10. We're going to use limit. The limit order is where this begins. So I'm going to choose a sell limit at 185.62, left click, and it places the OCO order. We've got the limit at a price. We've got the OCO 10 ticks below the bid and offer. If one of these orders is filled, it will cancel the other order. Now you can modify these orders by left clicking and just dragging to the new price. So once the OCO order is placed, you can modify it on the fly. To cancel, right click on either of these, the limit or the stop, and it cancels the order. Let's go ahead and place another one. And again, keeping in mind, if you do not enable this activate button and you go to place another OCO, it's not going to do it. It's just going to place a straight limit order. So let's place another OCO 10. We'll go on the buy side. So you pick your limit price, and in this case we're on the buy side, and there it places the OCO. And just to demonstrate, we'll go ahead and drag this into the offer. We'll see if we get filled. I'll move it down. I'll drag it into the bid. I won't let you drag that into the bid. Well, it will get filled at some point, and it will cancel when it's filled. The other tactic that we want to talk about is the bracket order. Same kind of structure that you need to create here. You need to set it up first down at the bottom. We want to create a new tactic. And in this case, we'll call it bracket 15. I already have a bracket 10 up there. So we'll call it bracket 15. Hit OK. And just like before, the tactic manager will place the tactic name and the type of order. This is a bracket order. Now there's a lot of different variables in here, trailing stops, moving the stops, moving limits, and we'll talk about those at another time. But for right now, we're just going to kind of talk about the basic standard bracket order. I called this bracket 15, and so let's go ahead and change the stop from 10 to 15. We've also got a target that we can place, and we're going to make that 15 also. So now we've got a bracket order that's set with a 15 tick stop and a 15 tick limit. Just like we did before, you save the tactic and you close. Now, if we're going to place a bracket order onto this particular chart, we activate it, or actually we can choose it first. Called it bracket 15, and we activate it. Now the next order that is placed is going to be the bracket order that we set up. Again, we use limit orders to initiate. In this particular case, we'll put a sell bracket, or excuse me, it'll be a sell bracket up above the market. And here is the bracket order. If the market rallies up to the limit that we placed, then we are going to place a stop 15 ticks from the bid and offer and a limit 15 ticks from the bid and offer. So that's the purpose of the bracket, is you've got this set up. If the market rallies, you're going to get filled, and it's going to place the stop and the limit that are OCO'd. So these two orders are OCO'd. So you've got a little structured trade here that will take care of both the initiating and the exiting. And I just want to mention that all of the orders that you place are day orders. If you want to change that, we do have the ability down at the bottom. It comes defaulted as day, but you can make that GTC. Some people are asking where that is, and that's down here at the bottom. Again, you can modify the bracket. You cannot modify the stop or the limit until this bracket is filled, or this initial order is filled. Okay, in this case we dragged it into the bid, so we got filled. So you can see we're short one, and now we've got the OCO on the other side. To cancel, again, same thing, right click on the number, and that will cancel the order. So let's try another one. Let's go back and take a look at that OCO 15, or excuse me, bracket 15. The way we defaulted it initially is that it had both the target and the stop. If you just want to have the stop without a target, you can just uncheck either of those two features. So if you just want one side of the bracket, you can do that as well. So we'll show you that. So in this particular case, we've got the bracket 15. We've selected that at the bottom, and we'll activate it. Left click. There we go. Okay, so in this particular case, unlike the previous example, we have a sell and we've got a stop. We did not place the limit side, but you certainly can do that. So again, it's customizable to whatever you decide. Now you can also, if you want, place a initiating position with a stop on a bracket order, and some people do that too. If you're trading a breakout strategy and you want to buy if the market breaks above a certain point or sell below a certain point, you can do that with this. We've got the bracket 15. We'll activate it, and then we will activate the stop placement. Before we were using the limit to signal the entry order. In this particular case, we're going to use a stop. So I want to place a sell stop below the market by left clicking. So you can see we've got a sell stop below the market. If that order is filled, a conditional order, then this order, the buy stop, protecting stop, will be placed. So nothing will happen until the market drops down and initiates your sell stop. So this is a popular feature as well. Again, to cancel, you just right click. Just mention that these conditional orders, the first order that's placed is what we call on the server side. So for example, what I've just had set up, right? So we've got the sell order with a conditional protective stop. In this particular case, the sell order is working server side. That means that's working on the exchange. Whether or not your Photon Trader is up and running, whether or not you have internet access, that order will be filled if the market rallies to that point. The important part to remember, though, is this conditional order will not be placed on the server side. So if your computer's down, if you have internet access that is not consistent, you have to be careful with this type of order, because this order is working, will be filled, but this stop will not be filled. So if you're using these orders, you have to be sure that you've got reliable internet and that your computer is on and Photon is up and running. That's a question we get quite a bit. Excuse me. So that's the basics of the matrix and the tactics. Like I said, we'll go into some of the greater details on another webinar. And if you have any questions about this particular feature, certainly feel free to email Paul or I, and we'll be more than happy to do a screen share with you and walk you through it. Any other questions that you guys have, certainly feel free to type them in, and we will go over that. So that's the basics of the matrix. I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and he's going to get into some charting features and indicators and some strategies. So I want to thank you all again, and we'll look forward to hearing from you if you do have any other questions.
Thanks very much for demonstrating, the matrix, which most traders use that feature. I'd like to show you some of the features that I like to use in Photon. I took the liberty of kind of setting up a couple of charts to show you what I like to use in Photon Trader. The basics for some of you that might be new, just opening the program and setting up screens. And then I have a couple screenshots including matrix, order manager, position report, market view, and chart modules that I'll go over quickly, but we can certainly send you guys the slides from this if you'd like. But I want to just show you the features that I keep up on my screen, and so I took a few screenshots from this morning. Just indicating, if you're new, if you open up Photon, you get your username and password. When you do that, for those of you that like to conserve real estate, you can right-click on this Powered by Rhythmic, and it will minimize the bar to be this size for your toolbar, which we all do. Then in terms of your layout, if you've saved a layout, you can load it from this icon here, and then if you're looking to open up a chart module, you can do that from this Rubik's Cube type icon. So this is the way that Photon Trader is actually appearing right now, and just wanted to show those of you that are new the steps that I'd go through to open up Photon layout and also chart. So looking at screens from this morning, you can have a matrix where I've put on a position at 2181.5, so that shows highlighted and shows where the market is. Your position shows short one, shows short from an average price of 2181.5. The position at that time was up $87.50. This also on your charts, when we get to that, will show up as a little white arrow. If you have that enabled, you can turn that on or off if you're trading quite frequently and you don't want to have all those in. One of the neat things I like to do is I like to trade visually. You can see the orders on the charts with Photon Trader charts. I want to just point that out. But just briefly to show you a couple of the screens that we look at, there's an order manager screen which would show the S&P mini short one and from the price at 2181.5, and then it would also show up in your position breakdown in the position report as a -1 for short one, average sell price, profit or loss at that time. It'll show your open positions profit or loss, in this case 62.50. And that's also, for those that want to be technical, that's based on the bid ask. You could also have it be based on last trade. Just a couple other screens. When you go to open up chart windows, as Jerry pointed out in the matrix, when you're loading symbols, if they've been previously loaded, they will populate when you click on this first arrow, select an instrument. If you haven't yet, then you would click on this ... box and type in the symbol. It will ask you to specify a couple of things, and this is something that takes a little getting used to. And Damon often points out that you don't want the program to try to load too much data if you want it to be fast. So you just want to get the amount of history days that you need for your bars and for your indicators. So for example, in this case, it's going to load 3 days worth of data on a daily bar. Usually on a daily I'll use 30 days. This is just the screen showing loading symbols. As you're typing in ESU6, it would populate with that. You'd hit return, and the chart would open up with that particular market. You can open up multiple matrices. We do like to say that it does take up more of your bandwidth, but I'll keep them open for the 3 products that I might be trading. So I've got one for ES, one for CL, and one for British pounds. So it'll show my open positions there. And that's very helpful, especially if you're trading off the charts, to have an indication of your average price and your net position for multiple markets. It's a nice way to keep track of that I like to use. And then consistent with that, for keeping an eye on my orders, my positions, I'll also keep an eye on my orders and my P&L using the order manager and position report. And I pointed this out, I don't often use it, but you can have more than one chart window open. I don't recommend it. It can cause your computer to use too many resources, but it is certainly possible. You can also have I'm saying chart windows. In each chart window you can have multiple charts. I like to keep just a couple charts on my right-hand screen of markets I'm watching, and show you the indicator opening process, which I'll do using the platform after these slides. But one of the popular indicators is an exponential moving average that defaults with 20 periods. So for example, on a 5-minute crude chart, the move that we've had from 6:35 this morning has been pretty dramatic, and you can see we haven't touched the exponential moving average by the time I was producing these charts at around 11 o'clock today. So as you break through that exponential moving average on the E-mini S&Ps today, you can see we had a relatively large range bar, and I put on a position on the demo just based on the penetration of that exponential moving average. But another indicator that clients like to use is MACD. And you can see we had a crossover sell signal at approximately the same time we had a penetration of the exponential moving average. So that could be considered a sell. So I put that in just for the sake of showing you, especially those of you working with the demo, what a position would look like real time. So here's the sell. Again, we're on the E-mini S&P 5-minute. Here's the sell, and then this is a stop order above the market that you can move around based on the level of the exponential moving average. You could trail it, for example. It's at 81 here. On a bounce, you could, if you see it moving up and you want to give it a little more room, you can just drag and drop it, moving it up a quarter tick or a quarter point, for example, in this right-hand slide. Let me just pause on the slides for a second and walk you through the basics of opening up a chart and putting up an indicator on it. So as I said, the plug-in menu is where you find the charting feature. So we're opening up a chart window. Now, since I've opened up a chart window and saved it before, it's going to populate back with the indicators in the default chart that I like. So you guys seeing the charts okay at this time? Good. So what I wanted to point out was how to open up a chart is that you go to right up top, it says Photon Trader Charts, and then whatever you've named your screen last, you would click on New Chart. Then you would choose the instrument that you would like the new chart to focus on. So for example, I'm going to go with an E-mini S&P here. So if I hadn't typed one in already, I would enter ESU6 in the triple dot box that we referred to before. Then I would choose whether I would like it to be a chart by, let's say, daily bar or minute. Daily E-mini S&P is pretty interesting right now. If I loaded up 30 days of data and hit return, it's going to bring up a new chart for me with the last 30 days in E-mini S&P. Now, getting used to the days of data, at 30, the MACD indicator does not have enough data to populate properly. So at that point, we'd need to go maybe out to 90 days to see the most recent signal in E-mini S&P. I'll show you how to put the indicator up shortly here. I just want to drag the chart out so you folks can see it a little bit better. If I was looking to add or remove a study, I can go to the study name, right-click, hit delete, and remove the study. If I'd like to add a study, I'd go to the study button. I'd type in an M for MACD, for example, and I'd hit OK. There are numerous studies in there, including some from professional traders like Linda Raschke and others, including John Ehlers. I'll touch base on that as we finish up. But for me, I am a visual, trader. I didn't begin trading on the floor, so the matrix is not my go-to. I like to see my orders on the chart. So you can turn order controls on or off using one of these buttons up here that says hide or show order controls. So if we're going to show them, and this is my left-hand chart, I'd like them to be on the left, so I can click change docking side, basically, of where the orders screen would go. In this case, just for the convenience, I'm going to move it over to the right, to the center of the screen. What I can do then is I can put my default quantity in. So at this point, let's say we're trading a 3-lot. Okay, once that's set, I can go ahead and click on the chart just to click off of the quantity, and we're 83 last on the S&Ps. If I click stop and click below the market, it's going to place a stop below the market where I clicked. So then that stop can be moved around. This is why I like to have a matrix up that'll show me what's my average price and a position order report up that will show me where my order has been moved to. But this is a nice way to display the orders on the chart and to drag them below a swing low, for example. Very straightforward. Clicking the X will cancel the order. If you click limit and click below the market, the system knows that it's a buy and will place it as a buy. If you click stop and you click below the market, the system knows it's a stop and will place it as a sell stop below the market. So order placement and the visual that I get in feedback from Photon Trader, trading off the charts is something that I like to see, especially as you're putting in swings and you want to be trailing a stop. If you, for example, were long this market at this time and then it made this little bit of a swing low here, it would be intuitive to simply drag your stop from maybe down here right up below that last swing. So for me, I like to trade off the charts, but I also like the matrix to know the net position and the profit or loss on each particular position. That being said, do you guys have any questions on Photon? We have existing customers in the room. We also have new demo users and some that have had a demo in the past. And we just want to see what types of questions you guys have. There should be a questions panel where you can type those in. If we do not get to your question during the presentation, they do show up in our reports, and we'll be happy to follow up with you. So if you have a question for Jerry, you're welcome to address that question to Jerry, and Jerry will follow up with you or myself. We're here to help you guys shorten the learning curve. If you're a demo user or a trader, we just want to try to show you the program. We feel it's in your best interest. We want to help you maximize your trading or your demo period if you're evaluating the software. And so we want to let you know we're here to help, and that's the purpose of us presenting this information. Jerry and I have a lot of experience working with customers, and we're here to help. And we just want to know what your questions are. We're also looking at scheduling some upcoming webinars. Thank you. I'm seeing a good question here. So ideas that you guys have for questions that you give to us, we will actually incorporate them into our next webinar, so you can help improve our process of education here. A question was asked how to remove an indicator from a chart. For me, what I like to do is I'll look at where's the indicator's name, and I will right-click on that indication, and then it'll bring up the configuration settings. At that point, you can click the delete button to remove the indicator. So just to show it again, I would click study to put one on. I'd click M for MACD, and you can choose from others through the drop-down menu. I just showed you by shortcut, but for example, there's LBR indicators for Linda Raschke. There's MESA indicators for John Ellers in here, and we have interesting programs with John Ellers through World Cup Advisor. If you folks aren't familiar with that, we can certainly show you. So I would hit OK to turn on the indicator, and then to remove the indicator, I would right-click on the name of the indicator and go to delete. Charts are scalable by dragging the bottom indicator, so if I wanted to make the bars wider or narrower, I can do that. And where it says standard for a standard chart, you can make your chart a candle, and you can also make it a candle volume chart, which shows periods of high volume as wider bars. My preference typically is for a candle bar to give me the indication, but during reports, a lot of our clients use the candle volume bars as an indication of confirmation on a break of new lows. For example, this one was extremely wide. It was most likely on a break below this swing low. So I'll go back to candle volume here and point out what I'm saying. As this market broke below a popular place to have either sell entries or sell protective stops, as it breaks below that, a lot of orders get triggered, and that could be an indication of confirmation when you see a bar with high volume. So going back to just a standard candle chart, I'm going to see if there is a quick way to determine the front month of contract other than finding the volume level for different months. Pretty much most of the clients work with a broker, and the broker can always indicate to you which month to be trading. For example, in crude oil, we rolled over to October today for the highest volume, if I'm not mistaken, where we were trading September before. But we pay attention to the most high volume, and that would be the month we would trade, John. Thank you for your question. How do we get a copy of this webinar, Sammy's asking. Thanks, Sammy. For those of you that registered for the webinar, we will be sending out a copy of the recording. So I want to let you know that. And for any of you guys that are in here, you're welcome to contact Jerry or myself with questions. I see a question, how do you add a chart to an existing window? So for example, if I have this window open with a 5-minute crude oil, and let's just widen it out a little bit so we can read it a little better by scaling it. How would I add a chart if I wanted to add a second one? Well, I might start by removing the indicator so that I can add a chart below this chart. So let's go ahead and say we want to put a chart down below here, and we'll just use an example of a different time frame of the same commodity. So if I see this is September crude on a daily, and up here in the tabs, it's probably pretty small on your screens, but this is the 5-minute that we were just looking at. I can drag this tab into this chart field and then position it based on this cross below the other chart. So when I let go of the mouse, it's put the daily chart below the 5-minute chart. And as you can see, we've had a dramatic move in the crude oil recently. Again, a lot of the traders are looking at indicators and oscillators for direction. I really like MACD. It didn't catch the low of the crude, but it did get a buy signal pretty close to the low. So this is a pretty significant move. We went from 50 below 40 in the crude just recently, and now just in these past 6 sessions, I believe it is, that we've gone low to high in each of those. Again, with changing that to a candle can make that more dramatic. This has been all buyers. Over these sessions, you had the outside bar up, and then low to high, low to high, low to high, low to high. And today's move is pretty dramatic, up 132 points. So I hope that answers the question about adding a chart to an existing window. I can certainly go through the process again by deleting this chart below and then going ahead and I can add a new chart just to review that process. So let's say I want to add CLU6 and I want it to be a daily with 30 days of history. So I go ahead and add that chart, and then I'll grab the tab that I just created, CLU6, and I'll press and hold my left mouse button. I'll drag it down, I'll get this indicator, and I can put the chart to the right, or I can put it to the bottom, or I can put it to the top based on this. I like to have the shorter time frame on top as a rule, so I have the daily on the bottom. Again, if you have the order controls and this is just something you're using to watch the chart, you can hide the order controls using this button over here. So you can change the interval from 5 minutes to a different time frame if you choose to do that. When you're on a daily bar, that's going to be grayed out as it is here, but if you're on a 5-minute chart, you can move it to a 15-minute chart as such. You do have to hit refresh to have that happen, or return. So again, the exponential moving average is another indicator that we don't have on the daily. How would we add that? We'd go to Add Study, go to the drop-down menu, look for exponential moving average. We can change those parameters. I typically will follow default parameters because that's what most traders are following. So they make more sense on the chart when you give a buy or a sell signal. So the default there is a 20-period exponential moving average. So once I click OK on that, you can see it's drawn on the chart. Again, getting used to how much data you're drawing. This indicator will only draw based on how many days the indicator needs to draw. So if I change that days back from 30 to 90, I'll get more history on my indicator, which is an important thing to get used to. And Jerry and I can help you with this learning curve. So I wanted to give you some basics on the charts and kind of show you some of the things that I like to use with Photon Trader. How much computer RAM does Photon Trader need?
I think 4 minimum, but 8 is preferred.
4 minimum and 8 preferred. And most of the traders that I've talked to are pretty familiar with that they all work with 8. Yeah.
Yeah. 8 is kind of where you want to be at least.
Yeah. Can you place one chart atop another? Okay, Sammy, I'm not certain what you mean. Do you mean can we layer them so you'd see both? No, we don't have that feature. If you mean put one on top of the other as we have in the left-hand window, yes, we can do that. I hope that helps answer your question, Sammy. And thank you. I'm seeing a couple more. contact info. Yes, I'll be providing Jerry's and my contact info. You're welcome to email us. We are pushing, the last couple of minutes, so we'll try to field a couple more questions. Jerry, did you have anything that that you think we should be adding? If you folks, have more questions, I think it's really nice that you get the chance to see how two different traders use Photon Trader. Jerry said it very well when he said you can make it as easy or as hard as you want, because it is highly customizable. It was built for traders such as high frequency traders, commodity trader advisors. It's very, very fast relative to other platforms in the industry, and that's one of the things that we can give you more specifics on it when we speak to you individually. If there are other questions, again, you can type them into the question panel. I know a couple of you have found that. We will get a copy of your question and we'll address that. We can certainly just email you back on that or contact you individually. We're glad that you took some time to take a look at our webinar on Photon today. I want to put our contact info back up on the screen. And in fact, I'll cut and paste it. But you can reach me at my email or phone number, and Jerry at his email or phone number. I will cut and paste those into the questions and chat panel. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to let us know what we can do to assist you with your demo or trading on Photon Trader. I'm going to send this our contact info to all, so you all should be receiving that shortly. And demos are available. If you haven't yet requested a demo, you can do that through a couple of different ways. Our preference is that you work with us individually because your demo only lasts 30 days and because you can only have one per calendar year because of exchange rules. We want to make sure that you maximize it. So, the best thing for you to do is to contact us directly, or you can receive a demo by clicking on the following link. I'll try to pull that in. Yeah, I can't copy it out of the presentation at the same time as I'm showing the slide. So we will email each of you a link to a demo if that's something you're interested in. In fact, I'm able to pull the link here now for those of you that want to get started. We're going to copy that and paste that in as well. So if you request a demo, either Jerry or myself will follow up with you. What else do we need to cover, Jerry? Okay. For those of you that are customers here, we thank you for your interest and for trading with Future Path Trading, and we're here to assist you. We're going to try to do these webinars on a weekly basis. So look forward to hearing from you what information would be best for us to cover. Jerry and I will be around for a little bit longer today, so if you want to give us a call, we can assist you with getting your demo started or questions that you have that you might want to be answered privately. I'm getting a lot of thank yous for your webinar for Jerry and Paul. And again, we just want to thank you for being here and for your interest in Photon Trader. We look forward to seeing you in one of our upcoming webinars. Good trading to all. Want to say goodbye, Jerry? Okay, have a good day, everyone. We're going to cut out.